Next up we have Mega Man 6, which is actually going to be the first game that I only had to pull footage from a single game for each Robot Master. Hooray! First up we have Blizzard Man. He's basically just got 2 attacks. First off, he will turn into an invincible ball and roll towards you until he hits a wall, and then he'll bounce off in the same arc every time. And his other attack is he can spawn in 4 snowflakes that hang in the air for a second before homing towards your location. And then from there he can either go back into the ball, or he actually might chain the snowflakes together with a brief moment where he skis in between. But his weakness is the Flame Blast. He can be tricky to figure out which attack he's doing before he actually starts doing it, because he doesn't really have any tells until he goes into it. You have a lot more time with the snowflake attack to avoid getting hit. Not so much time with the rolling attack, although it's not like there's an unfair amount of time. There's not really a whole lot to say here. It's a solid middle of the road fight. It's not particularly amazing. There's nothing wrong with it, for sure. I could probably put it at the top of the B tier. Next up we have Centaur Man, and he's a little bit of an odd duck. First off, his weakness is the Night Crusher, which is great for him because you kind of want to stay on the ground. He stays on the ground, and it just shoots straight out in front of Mega Man. It won't be obstructed by anything. It's a good weakness for him. But he might have more attacks. I've just never seen him live long enough to do more than the 2 attacks. Which, first off, I think he always starts the fight shooting a lemon across the screen, which explodes into like 5 directions when it hits the wall. Which, if you're standing on the half of the stage that he is on, when it hits the wall, you'll be safe. And of course, it will sail harmlessly over your head as long as you don't jump. His other attack is to just teleport, and I don't know if there's any rhyme or reason to it. It seems like he tries to teleport to where you're standing so that you take contact damage, but I haven't experimented enough with it to see this. I do not know how to dodge him when he runs across the room while he's shooting his lemon across the screen, because he's too big to jump over. Like, that's for sure. I don't know if, like, maybe you can slide under his legs since he's so tall. Maybe that's what they mean. I don't know. But the reason he's an odd duck is that his ability is another time-stopping ability, but I don't recall ever seeing him actually use this ability during the fight. He's got to have it, I'm sure. It seems like it's just buried pretty deep inside his AI. This fight definitely has some issues, making it, at the very least, extremely unintuitive how to avoid getting hit when he walks across the entire screen. If not outright impossible to avoid getting hit, is definitely going to knock it down. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to put this one in the D tier. I could probably put him at the top of the D tier. But I mean, the fact that I've never even seen him use his signature move, that's kind of an issue. And then having the, as far as I can tell, unavoidable attack. Like I said, there's probably some way that I just haven't thought of, but at the very least, it's extremely unintuitive. And yeah, that's all I have to say about Centaur Man. It is interesting that they had a quadruped for a Robot Master. I believe he's the only one. Well, maybe Pluto could be considered a quadruped, but besides him, I don't think Pluto technically classifies as a robot master. Anyway, I digress. Next up, we have Flame Man, the Saudi Arabian robot. In some ways, he feels like Heat Man 2.0 when he does his his flame blast that comes up out of the ground in several places. That's very Heat Man-like. He tends to jump when he gets hit. His weakness is the windstorm, by the way. And his other attack that I've seen him do is he'll just shoot fire at you. It moves pretty slow and it's spaced out well enough that as long as he doesn't do it on top of a flame blast, you shouldn't have really any issue dodging it. Yeah, there's not a lot to say about this fight. It's not a bad fight. Doesn't really have any issues. I'll put him just a peg above Heat Man because, God, he's so similar to Heat Man. He really is. Next up, hailing from England, we have Nightman, who, as his name implies, is an armored knight of a robot. I really like this fight. He moves slowly. He jumps high enough that you can easily slide under him. He doesn't jump super often. His attack is fairly slow. Like, he really fits that whole armored knight trope. But his attack is just tricky enough to make you have to think. He will shoot his his Night Crusher to your current location, and you have to either jump backward or jump forward, and that's your chance to take shots at him with his weakness, which is the Yamato Spear. And I honestly couldn't tell you if he has any attacks besides just slowly walking along the ground, jumping, and shooting his Night Crusher at you. But, you know, you don't need a vast bag of tricks. If the few tricks you have in your bag, you do extremely well. Nightman is definitely an A tier. I'll put him above Wave Man, in between Wave Man and Gravity Man. Next up, we have Plant Man. Now, he does have an exploitable AI, but it does take some knowledge and some setup to get it to work. I have seen it done several times, and I've never actually looked into exactly how to do it. I've just kind of tried to fudge it based off of what I remember seeing, and I'm not consistent about getting it done. But the AI exploit is that he'll jump over you, bounce off the wall, and land harmlessly away from you. You can just sit in the corner the whole time, and the only thing you have to worry about is jumping over his plant barrier when he throws it at you. Which is... I'm not going to knock this against Plant Man, because it's not Plant Man's fault. It's the weapon's fault after Mega Man learns it. But Plant Man could clearly throw the plant barrier. And I think you're going to see later that I'm going to go into a fight thinking that I can throw the plant barrier and find out that no, you can't. It just spins around you until you hit something. But anyway, Plant Man. Yeah, he does one thing, and that is he will jump towards you and then walk a short distance away and throw his plant barrier at you. That's all he does. His weakness is the Blizzard attack, which is very easy to hit him with after he throws the plant barrier away. It does deflect it when the plant barrier is up. I don't think it's a particularly great fight. I just said with Nightman, you don't need a vast bag of tricks if the few items, or the few tricks in your bag, you do really well. Well, Plant Man takes that to a different level He is a one-trick pony, and it's not a very impressive trick. That said, the fight doesn't have any overt problems, so I could probably stick him above Oil Man in the B tier. Which I think, yeah, B tier is what I've been using for my baseline. Like when it doesn't have problems, but it's not exceptional. But yeah, that's really the nicest thing to say about Plant Man is he doesn't have problems. Next up, hailing from North American continent, we have Tomahawk Man. And maybe some people find his design offensive. Personally, I am enough Native American to actually be part of a tribe, a Cherokee tribe, and I don't find it offensive. I kind of think the inclusion of a Native American robot master is cool, but that's just me. I guess my skin is white enough that nobody cares what my opinion is. But moving on, as I mentioned with Plant Man, Tomahawk Man is the one that's weak to the plant barrier. You'll see in the footage, I thought I could throw it, and that's why I took several hits. But no, you cannot throw it. You just have to activate it and get near Tomahawk Man, which is kind of dangerous. It would be a much better weapon for Tomahawk Man if you could throw it like Plant Man does. But unfortunately, you can't. Tomahawk Man, he makes short hops, so you're not reliably going to be able to get underneath him. I think he can also make larger hops as well, but he does make short hops that's impossible to slide under. He has 2 attacks as far as I'm aware, one of which he flicks his headdress all Shantae style to launch a couple of feathers at you, 3 to be exact. It's pretty easy to jump over all 3 as long as you're close enough to him when he starts the attack, but not too close, of course. I guess it does have to be a pretty precise distance. And then his other attack is to throw the Silver Tomahawk, which has an upward arc. But he is a tricky fight. I do like him. I just think that the weapon that he's weak to is not great for fighting him because it's so dangerous to get close to him. So I think I could put him... guess I could put him in between Bomb Man and Skull Man in the B tier. Oh boy. Up next, hailing from China, we have Wind Man. And here's another one that I feel confident that I've not seen all of his attacks ever. His signature move is the Windstorm, but I've never seen him use it. The only thing I ever see him do in this fight is just get off the ground, which it varies how far off the ground he gets. Sometimes it's low enough to the ground that you have to jump over him when he goes across the screen. Sometimes you just walk under him. Other times I think you have to actually slide under him to get by. But either way, this is the only attack I've ever seen him do. He'll hover off the ground, go across the screen, and then stomp down. Oh, stomp is probably not the right word because it doesn't stun you or anything when he lands. But he does go straight down. And he just repeats this. He also tries to suck you in. And that's about it. His weakness is the the Centaur Flash, which is technically a time-stopping ability, but really it's more of a screen nuke, like Gravity Man's Gravity Hold from Mega Man 5. I don't know. I do think it is a design problem when the Robot Master is not prone to using their signature attack, the one that Mega Man takes from them. And it's an even bigger problem when it's buried so deep in their AI that if you're not dragging the fight out, you're not going to see it. And the 2 attacks that I do see are not impressive at all. You know, it's a lot like Plant Man, except even worse, if you can believe that. A one-trick pony that does it badly. Yeah, no, this guy is about as bad as Gyro Man. You know what? He's actually worse than Gyro Man, because Gyro Man at least throws the gyro attack at you, and Wind Man does not throw the windstorm when he's flying across the screen. Yeah, he has earned a place near the bottom of the C tier. Lastly, from the land of the rising sun, we have Yamato Man. Now, I like this Robot Master. He's got an interesting gimmick. One of his attacks is he shoots his Yamato spear at you, but then the head of the spear, like, it'll hit the wall or it'll hit you and then it'll fall to the ground. And he can't do anything else until he walks across the screen and picks up the head of the spear. It's an interesting thing, but it also serves as a pretty tricky attack, because you have to keep it in the back of your mind always. After he throws a spear at you, he's going to walk across the screen to grab the head. And so many times that just trips me up, because I'm expecting him to jump again, which is his other attack. He jumps really high, which is why his weakness is the Silver Tomahawk, which has an upward arc, as I've discussed earlier. And it's really a weakness. I almost feel like they made him jump high because they gave him the Silver Tomahawk as a weakness. And when he jumps up, at the apex of his jump, he will shoot 3 Yamato spearheads that spread out from him toward your location. The middle one will fly directly at you, and the other 2 will go off to the sides a bit to restrict the movements you can make and stay safe. Unlike the one that he shoots on the ground, he doesn't have to retrieve these. They just go through the floor and off screen. It's a good fight. It takes some skill to master, even though it looks deceptively simple of a fight. Very similar to Nightman. I don't know. They were just on the ball with these 2 Robot Masters. Yeah, I think near the top of the A tier, right behind Ringman. And that's gonna do it for Mr. X's robots that he stole from a tournament. Beat Wily to the punch on that one.